All right. Every single day across the country, families are inheriting properties they did not ask for. Mom passes away. Uncle Joe, he dies without a will. And suddenly, somebody who doesn't want to own real estate is stuck managing it and they're overwhelmed. They don't want to deal with tenants, toilets, or taxes. And they sure as hell don't want to rehab and retail it. This is where the smart money shows up because behind every probate is a motivated seller who's not getting flooded with bandit signs or lowball texts, one who just wants to get that house gone. And the best part, most investors are sleeping on this. Listen, probate is one of the most underutilized and widely profitable lead sources in the game. But if you don't understand the process, the timeline, and how to show up with both value and, most importantly, a little bit of tact, you're going to miss it completely. So, welcome to the Closers Club, where real investors come to learn the tips and techniques that will help their businesses grow. Today, we are talking to my friend Andrew Becker, a seasoned real estate investor and probate tactician who has built a consistent deal pipeline by leaning into what 90% of the market absolutely ignores. He knows the timelines, he knows the language, and today he's going to break it all down. And I promise you, this is better than any of the deals that you're out there getting off of MLS. So, Andrew, first question. Let's jump right into it. Thanks so much for being here. Most people hear probate and they instantly think, oh my God, it's paperwork, it's lawyers, all these delays. I don't even understand what they're talking about. But you have built a business around this. So can you break it down for us really simple for all of us at like a third grade level? What exactly is a probate lead? And why is this niche just so damn powerful for investors?
Yeah, first, David, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. And secondly, everything you just said about probates is true, but you don't need to be an expert in that regard. Okay. So, and we'll come back to that a little bit later, but probate at a third grade level is there are people out there, they pass away and they own stuff, right? Okay. And this is county by county, state variations. So you have to learn the nuances of wherever you are or wherever you're doing this. And legally, the estate needs to be settled in a certain way. Certain things need to happen. Certain people need to be notified. Heirs, beneficiaries, creditors. At the end of the day, the estate is worth X. There's some money maybe that needs to be paid off. When it gets paid off through either cash or any of the assets or the liquidation of those assets, satisfy the needs of the creditors. Like I'm talking about like credit cards, David, stuff like that, mortgages, etc. Whatever is left over gets distributed to the heirs and beneficiaries, normally kids, grandkids, etc. And then the estate files a return and closes. But there's a very strict legal process that needs to happen along the way. So the state makes sure that, it's being done fairly to the law. And that's what probate is at a very high level. And
there's a lot of rules around it. You can't just willy-nilly just take money and sell stuff out. You've got to do it correctly.
Yeah, you have to get approval, certain documents that the court will give you, like letters of administration if you're the administrator, or in other words, the personal rep, the person legally given, responsibility to settle the estate. So you have to follow a process.
Excellent. So, and are there, again, that just varies state by state, but let's talk about these leads. How do people die? How do you find them without, standing outside of the funeral home passing out business cards?
Right. Well, I don't recommend that. That's I guess we'll say first.
Yeah.
It's public information, just like real estate sales are public information. It's published. It's at the county courthouse level, David. That's the source of truth. Okay. So when someone passes away, what happens, there's all these different levels of it. There's like pre-probate, probate, etc. But I'll just focus on the probate part. So someone passes away and has an estate that needs to be settled, and someone in the family, either there's a will and there's someone named to do it, or someone steps up to the plate and says, hey, I will do it.
Okay.
First part, and what I kind of teach people through this is you don't want to reach out to someone prior to a certain trigger. It's just kind of it's an emotional time. You don't know these people. It's very delicate. But the first part of this whole process, David, is whoever, whether the family member, spouse, whoever, they go down to their local courthouse and they file what's called a petition to probate. Okay. And that is essentially, for lack of a better word, telling the world that they are ready to start to get this estate settled. And the majority of estates, 80-90% of them happen to have real property in the form of single family home, condo, apartments, whatever it is, that need to be liquidated sometimes. Because the majority of the time also, like if you're a PR in a probate file, you have your own house, your own life, and you might have a property that you are not willing or able to take over. Just happen. So it needs to get liquidated and sold.
Right. Could be on the other side of the country. Who knows? Yes. Now, let me ask you this, because some people do have wills or trusts. How do we capture those people that don't? Because some things do happen outside of probate. How do we capture those people?
Right. So there are, an example is like a death flag, a death certificate. There are certain ways to do that as well. So just things like that you can, that's also public information. You find out where it is and you can start mailing them as one example.
That's okay. So how long should you wait till you reach out to these people? And I assume you're reaching out to that personal representative, executor, or that the person who raised their hand and said, "Hey, I'll be in charge of this."
Yeah, I mean, what I have done and what I teach other people to do is to wait for the petition of probate to happen. Because prior to that, you don't know what they're doing, you don't know what they're going through or their plans. But you do know when they do file that petition, it's a legal document. They go in and say, "Hey, this happened. Here's a will. They didn't have a will, whatever." That is kind of them signaling that they're about ready. And it's not something like some people do it the next day, David. Some people wait 6 months. It just depends on how they want to handle their affairs and whatever are involved in those affairs. So that's what I highly recommend doing, because they're kind of saying, "Hey, we're ready to do this," and then you can step in and provide great value.
I love that. Yeah. Is it true that, that these kinds of cases are like every family member comes out of the woodwork, and these are kind of the messiest because, everybody wants a little piece of the pie?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, just like you and I are seasoned like real estate investors, and we've done broker deals before.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 shot, I suppose. Some are really, really easy and fast and simple, and some you have 12 different probates that need to happen. It just depends on the case file. But the idea here, it's fortunately yet unfortunately a good lead source. Obviously, people pass away and we don't want that. But it is, if you can crack into this and really figure it out, it's a never-ending lead source. And it's something that if you can bring value to this PR and say, "Hey, I know that you're going through this," you approach it delicately. It's a little bit different, so you have to have the mindset for this as well. But you're providing value by helping them through not only what you've been through a lot, and a lot of people on this podcast have been through just a real estate deal. You might do that once or twice in your whole life, and it's confusing and chaotic and hectic. They hire an agent, to make it less hectic and to remove the obstacles. That's the idea with the probates too. So it's got that element of real property in the form of a house, but also this, additional layer of filings and notifications and all this other stuff.
Right. What do you think is the thing that keeps most investors from breaking into probate? Like, what is it? What is that misconception or that urban myth, whatever it is, right? Like that thing that keeps them from saying, or, from venturing into this?
I think it's just perception. People think probate is very difficult, and it is if you approach it in a difficult way.
Yeah.
But if you approach it in a calibrated, calculated manner, and you bring in the right people at the right time, it doesn't have to be that hard. But it can, again, if you can establish yourself as a probate expert or a probate specialist, regardless of your exit strategy, David, they come out every week, and if you can optimize it, you can turn it into a very good revenue line on your P&L.
What types of discounts are you seeing people get? Like, clearly we want to get this before some realtor says you can sell it for $82 million, right? We want to get to them and offer like a solution. How does that, like, how are you getting, I don't know if that's the right question. Yeah. I guess, like, how are you talking to these people? Like, obviously we want to do it with some tact and a little bit of compassion, but like, what does that kind of at least initial messaging look like?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, you want to establish yourself from a empathetic point of view or sympathetic point of view and say, "Hey, we know what you're going through." I like to kind of get the elephant in the room out of the way, not pretend like we don't know what's going on, and just say, "Hey, we actually do this. This is our specialty, and we help people expedite the process and remove those obstacles before you even know they exist." And that's kind of like the first reach out. And there's a series of, if you cold call these leads or mail them, just a different approach depending on how you want to approach it. But the answer is, What we do is we have the plethora of options for them internally at our own disposal. And it's the people that are most, that can optimize this lead gen can say, hey, David, I know what you're going through. I can not only help you get through this process within a matter of weeks sometimes instead of months and months or years, but I can also purchase it from you directly and we can close in 2 weeks once the approval process is in place. Or I happen to be able to renovate it and I could get you, an ARV of $1 million and list it for you in our brokerage, or kind of anything in between. So those that have great success with probates will have this hybrid model of an exit strategy to kind of say, hey, you want it sold quickly? I can do that. Or if you have time and energy and you're willing to do, the most extreme, innovation, we can do that as well.
Yeah. So what are some of the best ways to reach out to this list? So it's going to be me reaching out, right? I mean, I guess you could have websites with SEO, but probably the most effective would be just going out and talking to these people.
Yeah. I mean, we just do 2 approaches. We can either cold call them or we mail them. And it's a drip campaign, a certain script, obviously, but 5 or 6 different letters, and then never ending kind of generic, vague, saying, "Hey, we're still here to help whenever you're ready." And that's kind of it. We keep it very simple.
Right. Do you find that this has a higher response rate than maybe some of the other absentee owners, or high equity or something like that?
We actually focus, I don't know the data off the top of my head, but we focus solely our direct mail campaigns, and we teach that as well to just do, and we do kind of like list stacking techniques as well. But it's got a pretty decent response rate. I don't know, again, I don't know off the top of my head, but it's all that we direct mail now. So
really,
it works for us. It's our third most, top producing lead source for us right now.
Really? So, and when you say we, tell me like exactly what you guys do and how you help other investors.
So kind of twofold here. We have a team that does sales. I'm no longer in that position where we kind of like what I just described. We can buy it, wholesale it, flip it, whatever, or list it. I teach people also. I have a program called the Probate Engineers. I've kind of moved on from the sales career part of my life, David, and now I teach and I have different services. But the Probate Engineers is specifically set up so you can, if you're interested in getting into this probate niche, learn it in an expedited manner in like 4 to 6 weeks instead of just trying to figure it out on your own. So it's an A to Z knowledge-based education that, from my own trial and error to do it in a very efficient, effective manner.
I think that's fantastic because, God, there's so much information, right? TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, but trying to get it and piece it all together. And how do you know it's not something from 10 years ago and it just, that doesn't work anymore? So I love that, and our industry has evolved so much in the last 5 years since I've been doing this, or whatever, too long. But where I can just, boom, this is what I want. Boom. It's like literally like I just pull it off the shelf, learn everything I need to know about it from somebody who's actually doing the business, which is fantastic. What are when people do make the transition into probate, what are some of the stumbling blocks that you see that maybe they didn't take your course and they're just making these mistakes? They're kind of like unforced errors.
Yeah, I think when prior to going through any probate course really and becoming an expert, you can kind of tell when someone's just kind of faking or BSing through a conversation. And what we teach inside of the program is we don't want you to compete. We want you to separate yourself by being able to talk the talk. So knowing the language of probate, and there's a lot of key words to kind of bring up and value that you bring. Like in the example I said earlier, where we can say, hey, we know you're going through this. We actually do it a lot. And we have a team of people, what we refer to as a power Rolodex, to bring in people to help expedite that process. So just like you, I'm sure when you were doing your real estate sales business, you had an attorney you liked or a title officer, whatever you do, right? We teach that, but for probate-centric items that may or may not come up in the process. So the idea of being the specialist and being able to talk through at a knowledgeable, you don't have to become like an attorney, right? But you have a probate attorney in your Rolodex that you can bring in who, oh, by the way, does 95% of their business is probate. So they know what they're doing. And oh, by the way, this person him or her, they'll work for free and they get paid on the back end. It's a massive value add for someone that's like, I don't even know how to sell the property, let alone navigate this entire process that I have to figure out on my own. So the letter actually comes at a time where other people might just say, hey, David, I can sell the house, I can sell the house, I can sell the house, not even acknowledging all the other steps or items in the file that need to be taken care of. And then I come along and I've separated myself from the pack and say, hey, here's all the stuff you're going to need to do. By the way, here's, even if you don't work with me, here's a checklist. For you to create a probate binder. And here's all the things that you need to keep in order so you can successfully close out the file in a very easy, free manner. So that's what I mean by separate versus compete here.
So, you know, in a little way, we do kind of overwhelm them a little bit, like, but this is all real. These are all of the things you're going to have to do. Or you could do that, or you could have me come over and help you, and I'll be happy to solve all that for you.
Just like people, you can sell their own home, right? You can do a FSBO. And you can sell your own house, but you're probably not going to do as well if you hire David, the real estate agent, who's been doing it for the last 10, 20 years.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Now, what about, are there any states where this is easier and states where it's harder? Anything, you know, anything like that?
There's no blanket catch-all kind of answer. The answer is it varies county by county.
Whoa.
So you have to figure it out by, and there are 3,100, 3,200 counties in the United States of America. So it's hard to say that without knowing all 3,200, but what I teach is how to approach the county and figure it out by bringing in experts, again, like a probate attorney, to say, hey, my name's Andrew, I'm in Virginia, I'm trying to do it in this county. Hey, David, you're a probate attorney, can I pick your brain? Here's my understanding of the process. Are there any nuances for this particular county in Virginia that I need to be aware of? And then you kind of figure it out county by county.
Wow. Okay. Any particular ones that you just absolutely love where you're like, this is the easiest, best place ever? I wish all my deals were like this.
So not from a deal perspective, but from a getting the information perspective, I'll talk to. So I'll give you an example. So DC, Washington, DC, there is no online go get probate data from, right? You have to go to the courthouse on a certain day. They have 20 computers, but only one of them works.
This is Washington, DC. It's the capital. Come on now.
There's only one computer. There's a 20-minute time limit if there's a line, and it's tough to figure it out, right? So we had to hire a runner, codify everything into a playbook, and say, hey, David, you're going to go into DC every Tuesday morning at 8:30, stand in line, go to the second floor, go to this, and here's the information we need. Arlington County, I pay $400 or $500 a year, and I can log in my pajamas, and I go to this website, and I go exactly to this tab, and I type in some dates, and I pull all the information from the comfort of my house.
Nice.
So that's where it kind of comes into play. It's a little bit easier to obtain the lead and the information. But again, once you know how to go get it, it's the same, unless they change something, obviously, it's the same every single time.
Wow. I love that. And that just makes it that's a system, right? That's what makes it repeatable and easy to go and do that. Andrew, I feel like we have so much more that we can dig in here. Where can people find you? Like, because I know they're going to want to follow you and kind of learn more about this before we can have you back on. Where's the best place for them to go and find you, follow you? What's the best thing?
Yeah, I think the easiest thing, I have the same name for my social platforms. I am Andrew Becker. LinkedIn, Facebook, anywhere you want to reach out to me, DM me, and we can start up a conversation there.
Awesome. Guys, definitely reach out and follow Andrew. So much good information. And really, probate it's daunting. I just had to go through it for my mom's estate, and she had a trust and everything, and it was probably easier than some, but it is a lot of work. And you definitely want somebody that can come in and help you, and you can be that person for all of these folks. And, I mean, we really didn't talk about it, but what do they call it? The silver age or something, the silver tsunami that's coming. Like, there's a lot of old people, there's a lot of people that, there's going to be some opportunity out there to pick up a lot of properties, and, not just properties, but businesses and storage units and apartment buildings. There's just a lot. So this is a niche that you really need to learn and drill down on and make sure that you are adding it into all of your other marketing sources. So Andrew, thank you so much, man. I truly appreciate you coming on. I can't wait to talk to you some more.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, David.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.